Hi, and welcome tonight. Thank you for joining me. As we start, you all are aware that we're starting to incorporate STEAM in our education and language enrichment into the goals of our curriculum. So I wanted to provide you all with an opportunity this evening to learn more about the development of your 2 and 3-year-olds and how that affects their instruction here at school. So first off, why is development important? So as parents, especially toddlers, you understand what your child should be doing physically most of the time at each age. And it's easy to see those milestones being hit, but sometimes we don't hear very often about what our child should be doing cognitively or even with their language. So just as physical development is important, so is language and cognitive development. Those are essential for growth in our children. So cognitive development is how children think, and language development, of course, is communicating with others. So without those two domains, your child will greatly struggle with many different areas in their life. And with our new STEAM program being introduced, we're going to go over how that will help support the cognitive and language development that you'll be seeing in your 2-year-old. So what is STEAM? I think many of us have heard of STEM, so we're going to talk about STEAM. So this refers to science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So science, that's where they're going to be learning through the environment around them. We'll ask questions like, will this sink or float? Technology, we'll use different forms of technology and different ways to enhance their learning. So like watching music videos to help incorporate dance and learning, like their alphabet. Engineering, just using different building materials to make things. Art, creating art and listening and expressing themselves through music and movement. So of course, creating free art. And then of course, dancing and singing to express themselves. And finally, math, just building with different shapes of blocks, different sizes, talking about the different size blocks, talking about how many blocks it takes before something falls over, simple things like that. So cognitive development is one of the 5 major domains of development. So the 5 major domains are physical, language, social, emotional, and of course cognitive. So cognitive is the development of skills, knowledge, problem solving, and anything that helps them understand the world around them. It's how children think and explore and figure things out around them. We often think of brain development when we think of cognitive development. So the developmental characteristics that we see in our 2 to 3-year-olds, here are some characteristics. I just want you to all be aware that these are characteristics that we see between the ages of 2 and 3. So if your child is closer to 2, you might not be seeing this until they're closer to 3. Also, just like any other developmental milestone, some children develop at different rates, right? So some kids are going to be doing these a lot earlier than others. And so let's just keep that in mind. I also got these from the Help Me Grow mn.org. And I encourage you guys to go to that website to really read more about these different domains and to see these milestones as well. So the 5 characteristics that I want to focus on were that children can do 3 to 4 piece puzzles. They can start to engage in imaginative play, so like make believe with dolls and animals and people. They'll begin to turn pages in a book one at a time instead of like a clump of pages. They will start to know their common colors, and they will start to draw a circle with a crayon or a pencil. So why is developmental or the cognitive development important at this age? So all domains of development are connected. So physical, cognitive, language, social, and emotional, they're all connected, and it's essential to not just focus on one area, but to really incorporate all of those because they are interconnected. If we ignore one domain, all the others will suffer. So even changes in one domain affect the other domains. If we only focus on the physical domain and how children are developing physically, then their other domains will be impacted. So another reason is that children are better prepared for learning when we integrate all those domains together. So they really are prepared for learning experiences when we incorporate all of these domains, and cognitive development is one of them. So how are we going to support cognitive development through STEAM? So first is through activities. So different learning activities will incorporate STEAM to support the cognitive development. One of the activities we have is rain in a jar. So we'll fill a glass full of water, put shaving cream on the top, and then use food coloring drops on the top. And then the children will watch the blue food coloring come down through the shaving cream and into the water, and that is supposed to be like rain coming through the clouds. Of course, sometimes they don't understand the science at this age, but they can see, this experiment that's happening, and that is huge. It's really supporting that thinking process in their brains already. Different projects that we'll do will incorporate STEAM. So, for example, painting with trucks, allowing the children to hold a truck, run it through paint, and then put it on a paper. And then, funnily, of course, play. Play is such a huge part of children learning, and so encouraging them through different sensory bins that we use. And like in the spring, we'll use a sensory bin that has dirt, and so children can dig in the dirt and plant vegetables. So moving on to language development. So just as cognitive development is one of the 5 major domains of development, so is language development. So simply put, language development supports the way your child communicates with others, but it also supports the ability to express and understand their feelings. It helps them to think and learn, to problem solve, to develop and maintain relationships with others. It's also, of course, essential to literacy. So for how they are going to learn and learn to read and write later. So these are the developmental characteristics for language development. Again, just like with cognitive development, these are going to happen at different rates between the ages of 2 and 3. So children are going to start using 3-word sentences. They're going to follow 2 to 3 step instructions, such as, can you bring me that book and put it on the table? They're going to start understanding those words like in, on, under, like the teddy bear is under the table. The book is on top of the cupboard. Things like that. They will start to name their friends and ask questions, of course, when, where, what, why, how, all of those things. So then again, why is language development important? It's important for the foundation for most learning that occurs. So if children do not have a solid grasp on language, then they'll have a more difficult time academically, and they'll struggle with the relationships in their lives. They'll also struggle with the different developmental domains. Because language helps them understand and cope with emotions, it's also important for relationships and for them to explore the world around them. And just like we discussed, all the developmental domains are interconnected. So when you support the language domain, it also supports the development in those other areas. Language development will also influence how children will interact and participate with others, and those interactions really help to support further language, social, and emotional and cognitive development. All right, so the 3 specific changes that we'll be making to the curriculum and to the environment throughout the program to support language development are these things. So activities, routines, and play. So we're gonna incorporate STEAM through the different activities to support language development. One of those will be a water table to figure out what will sink and what will float. And so just asking the children and interacting with them before, we do that activity and while we're doing it. Another way will be just through the routines that we do. One routine will be where we talk about the weather. We'll have a weather watcher go to the window, look and see what's going on outside, and then describe it to the rest of the class what they see. And then finally, just through their play again, because children learn so much through play. One activity will be through scented Play-Doh. We'll allow them to play with the scented Play-Doh, like around Easter, it'll be chocolate scented, and just giving them cookie cutters and asking them what they're creating, just little things like that. So I just wanted to thank you all for coming today and learning more about STEAM and how our program is incorporating STEAM into the curriculum and the environment here. I hope you all have a better understanding of both cognitive and language development and the characteristics that you see in your children, and that those are being supported here in our program. I just want you to reach out if you have any further questions about this new program that we're incorporating, and just if you have any questions about their development. Thank you again for your time.